Dis 'n goeiemiddag en ons tyd nou so 6 minute oor 3 en jy's ingeskakel op Homeview en natuurlik elke tweede Woensdag 'n onderhoud met die munisipaliteit. En vanmiddag het ek vir Carel Venter by my en ons praat oor solar panels, die vereistes, so as jy in die proses is of as jy dit wil doen en jy weet van iemand wat wil, WhatsApp gou en sê hulle moet inskakel. Vir die volgende halfuur, 15 tot 20 minute gaan ons praat oor solar panels en die vereistes en dan gaan ons oor na elektrisiteit toe. Carel, jy kan hierdie bietjie nader sit, dan sy baie welkom.
Baie dankie.
Daar sy. OK, kom ons val dan sommer in by die deur, né? Nee.
Yes, thank you so much. I think it's a relevant question, that one. And we always get that one. I mean, if you are a homeowner and you want to install solar, then that is one of the first questions that comes to mind, if you should actually submit building plans or not.
Okay.
In this instance, we are specifically talking about building plans. So the short answer is yes, you have to submit a building plan for solar panels, regardless of when they were erected or installed. If you have a house already, it's been built, you've been living in that house for a couple of years, and you want to install solar, then it's exactly also for that purpose that you have to submit a building plan, yes. Homeowners who have already or intend installing solar panels installations are encouraged to submit the building plan applications at the earliest convenience. Okay, so at the moment the municipality is fast-tracking solar applications because we know it's important and we know that people want to install it as quickly as possible and want to make use of a solar. But the average approval period is about 30 days after payment has reflected in the municipal account. But we try to fast track it and do it quicker than 30 days.
Yeah.
National building regulations is very clear that you may not proceed with any building activity without an approved plan. But we realize as a municipality the circumstances, and we do know that some residents proceeded and they did install the building plans. So please, yes, submit your building plans. You're not going to be fined or paid a penalty or anything relating to that. You will pay the normal application fee as long as you submit your building plan. And also I would like to encourage our residents to do that because usually for your insurance purposes,
of course,
your homeowner's insurance and specifically on the structure, they are always interested to know what improvements you have done or any additions to your structure. And solar does have certain risks, so it's important that you do get the necessary approval for the installation of that. Even if you have done it in the past, please submit your building plan. Architectural professional, that is your draftspersons or your architects, is not required for the submission of a standard residential solar panel application. Okay. The homeowner can do it themselves. What does happen, and I want to clarify that, you often get your business buildings or your industrial buildings where you need huge or big solar installations, and that is where you need your professionals to become involved. But we will also guide such installations and give the necessary advice when it comes to that. Okay, yes, it depends on the type of installation.
Okay.
For a standard flush-mounted roof installation, we do not request an engineer's appointment for the submission of the application. However, it remains the responsibility of the owner to ensure the existing roof structure will be able to withstand any additional loads. So what we are trying to say is that make sure as a homeowner that your roof can carry what you're going to install on that roof. It's as the owner, it's your responsibility, and if you are not sure, best advice is then please get a structural engineer to confirm that it can or not. Okay, that's now building submissions. Now it is important to understand there are two processes for submission of solar panel. One is a SSG application that is submitted with the electrical department. The second process is a submission of plans with a building control department. So these processes can run concurrently. So important for our residents to note that there are two, and sometimes there is some confusion. They think it's one, but it's actually, we try to make it one, but it's actually two because there's two separate approval processes. Goed, ons het dit weer eens, ons het dit so maklik as moontlik gemaak. So what we basically need is a minor works application. So you don't need, let's call it the normal building plan submission. It's actually for minor works. So we do have a special or a specific tariff for it, which is actually 560 rand. So it's not a big amount that has to be paid. A power of attorney form, if someone will be submitting it on behalf of the owner. Okay, so if someone else is doing that for you, then you need a power of attorney. And lastly, 2 sets of plans showing a drawing of a title containing the description of a work, the earth number, suburb, registered name, those type of things. A site plan indicating the earth boundaries, prescribed building lines, outline of existing structure, etc. The height of the panels above the roof, which is important because sometimes you see that they install the panels at an angle,
yes.
And there are definitely some areas in Mossel Bay where it could have an impact on your neighbor's view. And we do have height restrictions in place, and if it goes above a certain height, which is that 1 meter, then you are in the red zone. Then better to come to us and then just clarify before you do the installation. And then if panels are mounted to a structure, details of the structure must be provided as well. Well, if you make use of a professional,
okay.
Then of course a draftsperson or an architect, then you will have to pay that person's fees. Okay. And then other than that, in terms of building plan applications, no, there's none. But you have to also consider the installation cost, but that is to the owner as well.
Okay.
Okay. After the plans have been submitted and paid, they will go through all relevant departments in the municipality for approval or outstanding comments. So by that we mean we look at the plan and then we feel okay, there's some relevance to submit it, for instance, to our electrical department or to the fire services department. Okay. They could pick up something in the plan. Should there be unfavorable comments then coming from those departments, then we will provide a letter with outstanding comments to the applicant, and then for the applicant then to do a resubmission. Once everything is in order and all departments are happy, then it's recommended and then it will receive the necessary approvals. After the approvals the plans have been approved, the owner must contact the relevant building inspector. It's like when you are constructing a building. Okay. Yeah, please make sure that you call the building inspector, and then the inspector may issue a completion certificate. It's not an occupation certificate, it's a completion certificate. The building inspector will also guide the owners through what is required at this final stage of application.
Carel, waar kan mense kontak? So, hulle moet dit dan sien, dis soos 'n aanbouing by 'n huis.
Nou,
dis 'n excess, dis 'n add-on.
Dis heeltemal reg. Dit is sien dit as iets wat jy addisioneel gaan toevoeg tot jou struktuur en jy moet die nodige bouplanne indien dan vind dit. Hulle kan enige tyd, hulle kan die boubeheer departement skakel vir Sean Westerberg. Hy is die hoof by boubeheer. Dit is die beste persoon in hierdie geval om te skakel. So hulle enige navrae of hulle kan en die navraagnommer van die munisipaliteit is natuurlik beskikbaar. Hulle kan ook die e-posse in die verband deurstuur na admin@mosselbay.gov.co.za en dan sal die nodige aandag dit geniet. Of hulle kan ons kantore besoek by Bontetjiestraat. Okay. By die bouplan afdeling.
Yes, en as jy nou vir nommers verloor het, dan bel jy die munisipaliteit en jy sê luister, ek wil 'n solar insit, waarheen gaan ek? En dan gaan hulle vir jou kan help. Alright, ons gaan gou breek vir 'n musiekie en dan is ons terug by jou. Dis hy. Okay, ons is terug en ons praat oor solar panels en ons gaan nou oorskakel na Morné Olivier. Baie dankie vir julle tyd vandag. En ons gaan bietjie meer, dit gaan baie aanpas by die vorige spreker se vrae. Morné gaan dit bietjie meer uit die elektriese kant doen, hè? Is ek reg?
Mossel Bay municipality obviously allows small-scale embedded generators, or as we refer to them as SSEG installations. We allow them to connect to our grid. We've had a policy since 2016, so we've actually done it for the last 7 years already. And that policy document has recently been updated and revised to make it a bit easier. Since 2016, we've processed just short of 700 applications already. But interesting that in the last 9 months, more than 80% of those were processed. So it's really shot up exponentially in the last couple of months. So the total capacity of the applications is about 10 MVA, which is quite significant. For domestic and residential applications, solar PV is obviously the main technology.
Okay.
But the policy is sufficiently broad to allow for wind and biogas and hydropower and diesel generators. They all fall under the same application form.
Yeah, depending on the need, eh?
That's correct, yeah. So you must just note, if your installation is connected to the wiring of your premises, and to our distribution network, that means it is grid connected, and that's how we apply that rule. So and then obviously you need to apply for approval. Okay, Carel has now already done the building control part. So on the electrical section, as you said, there's 2 parallel applications. Ours also takes about 3 to 4 weeks to process.
Okay.
Especially now, if you just look at the sheer number of applications coming in. What we have done recently is to streamline the process and also the application form a bit. And we've also allowed for installations smaller than 30 kVA can now be signed off by a industry accredited installer, either a SAPVIA green card or a P4 accreditation from a rep. Okay. And while an EXA registered engineer can still sign off an installation of any size, but the smaller ones can also be done by these accredited installers. There's a link on the Mossel Bay municipal website where you can download the new forms. They are available there. Just a final note, you must remember it's still a very technical application. So there's many residents that try to complete it by themselves, but they run into some difficulties. So it is best to involve your installer and get them to assist you with all the technical detail that needs to go onto the form. And
yes.
That will make it a lot quicker. So the municipality has a total of 18 large diesel backup generators up to about 1 megawatt in size, and then we've got various portable generators that we can use in emergencies. There are backup generators that's installed at most of the wastewater treatment works, as well as the water purification works, so that those essential services can continue. And then there's various pump stations and municipal buildings that also have backup generation. Most of our traffic light intersections have a battery backup or a UPS backup. In the last couple of months, we have received a load-shedding relief grant from Western Cape Government, Department of Local Government, which we are using to purchase another couple of diesel backup generators. So we are busy with the commissioning of those units. As far as, well, that's more in the short term. As for the longer term, we are currently busy with detailed design, and it's quite a very exciting project for us actually. For 1 megawatt solar plants at a number of treatment works and municipal facilities, but with utility scale battery backup. So we've done feasibility for a couple of sites, so we've identified 4 or 5 sites. But the first one that we are going ahead with is at the Hartenbos Regional Wastewater Treatment Works. That project will probably go out to tender or be advertised in the press in the next week or two, which is quite a huge one. The total estimate for all the sites is more than 230 million. The Hartenbos one is obviously just the first phase of that, so it's not the total amount. So it's a big chunk of money, but we are quite excited because it's new technology and it's a total new concept for us. So what we'll have then is a solar plant, which keeps the wastewater treatment works energized, even if there's load shedding, and then you've also got battery backup to take you through the night or any prolonged bouts of load shedding.
Okay.
And if I can,
yes.
There's a bigger one too. We've advertised a request for proposals for 5 to 30 MVA. So these are very large plants. But those proposals are not for plants that the municipality intends to own. We advertised as a request for proposals from independent power producers for them to sell electricity to the municipality, but it needs to be embedded in our network. So we won't be buying from a solar farm in the R or somewhere like that. It will be within our area and limited to 5 to about 30 MVA. And the reason for that size. For that size is that we've done a grid impact study and we know that we can evacuate that amount of capacity into our own network. Unfortunately, it's the way that the industry has changed, and in our NERSA we need to apply to NERSA every year to get our tariffs approved. And for the last couple of years already, they are insisting that we submit a cost of supply study with these applications. So we are in the final stages of that cost of supply study, which we will submit. But what the results have shown is that there is under recovery on certain consumers, and then they are being subsidized by other consumers, which is not ideal. No. So it is something you'll see in other municipalities as well. Is that where prepaid electricity used to be a single part tariff. Previously, you only used to pay for your units that you purchased. We've changed the structure now to a different to a 2-part structure. So you'll actually pay slightly less for your units, but you need to pay a basic fee up front. And that's where we want to clarify also. Everybody bandies about the 434 rand. The 434 rand is only applicable if you have a 60 amp supply, which is standard design for most houses. We do see now with houses being more energy efficient that lots of the houses are actually designed for 45 amps.
But there is an application that people can do to lower the 60.
And that's the message that needs to go out, yes. So if you are comfortable that you can operate your home with a 40 amp supply, then we propose that you fill in the application and lower that. And what then happens is the 434 is actually a charge of 7 rand, I think 7 rand 23 per amp. So if you use a 45 amp, then it becomes 300 and something. If you take a 30 amp supply, it is 217 rand a month. That is die munisipaliteit kyk die afgradering na 'n kleiner aansluiting is 'n standaard ding. Dit bestaan al jare lank. Maar vir die tydperk wat ons nou in die oorgang is na die nuwe struktuur, het die raad dit goed gedink om tot die tydperk, ek dink tot die einde van Desember toe, kan verbruikers kosteloos afgradeer. Voorheen sou jy R235 moes betaal vir 'n afgradering. Vir hierdie tydwerk, omdat ons nou die struktuur verander het, kan verbruikers dit kosteloos doen. Ek stel net voor, jy gaan bepaal in jou eie huishouding mooi watter implemente jy gebruik. Weet as jy kyk na die groot goed, na jou warmwaterkiezer, wat se stoof jy het, want dis die groot verbruikers en dan besluit jy van 30 ampere kan te klein wees as jy elektriese geyser en elektriese oond het, dan kan 30 ampere bietjie klein raak, dan sal 45 dalk weer beter werk. Of jy besluit 60 is waar jy bly. There's a temptation to tamper with your installation just to save some money, but the problem is the tampering and the tempered installation is not safe. There's shortcuts been taken there. So apart from the loss of income to the municipality, there's also a serious risk of fire and to the health of your own family. We have systems in place to monitor. We monitor consumption patterns of customers and so on. So we do spot checks. We send our teams to go and inspect installations if we suspect that there's been tampering.
Okay.
There is a tampering fine of 252 rand, which is payable. And that is if the tamper was done in such a way that we can actually reuse the meter. If the meter was damaged in the tampering process, then that same amount of 252 is applicable, but you need to pay for a new meter as well. In serious cases or extreme cases, there's also the chance of the customer being permanently disconnected and could face prosecution for the deed. The municipality connects approximately 500 new customers per year through funding that we receive from the Department of Energy, and we do it through the National Electrification Program. Apart from the funding also being limited, they also have rules in terms of what they will pay for electrification. So if there's houses in areas that the houses need to be in areas that have been proclaimed for residences and they must be suitable for settlement, then it's that's something they will consider. The houses are not allowed to be in floodplains. We often find that illegal or not illegal informal structures will be erected in very steep areas where it's close to a watercourse or something.
And that's not a good combination.
Not a good combination. And we've seen the extreme weather we've had recently. So the planners will look at 50-year and 100-year flood data, and if those houses are within the floodplain, then electrification is not an option. Another thing, the houses are not allowed to be on private land, so that is to prevent land invasion.
Yes.
The government won't fund that electrification. And then very important from our side is, from the municipality side, is also the houses must not be erected in servitudes of services. So that means not under power lines, existing power lines, or over existing sewer lines or water lines, because that hampers your access for later maintenance of those services.
Okay. All right. Any questions concerning solar, building, electricity, anything that you can think of that can probably that you need information? Please contact the following number: 044 606 5000. Or additionally 044 606 5073. And then also please don't forget the collaborator. If you haven't downloaded the collaborator, please do so. It's so easy, it's informative. I love it that if something's happening, then you can quickly go on site, the message will be there. Okay, asseblief as daar enige navrae is, as daar iets vanmiddag is wat ons nie hanteer het nie, wat jy vrae oor het, asseblief kontak gerus die munisipaliteit by 044 606 5000 of 044 606 5073. Okay, Morné, Carel, enige iets wat ons gemis het vanmiddag, wat julle dalk voel die luisteraars moet nog weet?
Ek is niks van my kant af nie.
Niks van jou kant af, Morné?
Dankie nou.
Daar's hy. Goed, Baie dankie dat jy ingeskakel was, moenie weggaan nie. En ek speel vir jou uit met 'n lied vanmiddag en ons groet van Hartbeat se kant af. Tot later dan weer.